I got no time to parlay, unless it's big checks or parlays. I've been rich, it's not far away. Light the spliff and I stargaze. Consultation with the constellations. They said the world was in a dark phase. It got me desperado for protection. Carry big strap in a guitar case.
All right, what's going on, everybody? We here with a little special episode today. We're going to talk about the GOAT, Hardcore Leveling Warrior, Lucky Coin Syndicate.
Let's go. We out here. Let's go.
We in there. Joined by the one and only Vince. You already know.
Yep.
Zodiac Summoner has joined us today.
Let's go.
And Mr. Jordan, the hater. Mr. Ethan, number one supporter, is here. Yes, sir.
Let's go. Yes, sir.
And we're gonna focus on just season 1 today. Just so letting anyone know, if you've only read season 1, you still probably shouldn't be here because we're still gonna talk about things that happened in season 2. It's just not gonna be the focal point. So you have been warned. Don't cry to me. Don't care. All right. Now the first thing that I gotta ask you guys is, how many narratives like this have you ever read? Where it's like a video game world where the person plugs into the like a Sword Art or a Log Horizon.
I mean, for me, for a few like Gantz. I know I read like Gantz was one. I see a little bit of like Sword Art. See here, plug in. I was gonna say like Area. I think it's like Area D or something like that.
I remember. I like Area D. Does that count?
I don't think it does. Does it count? I read. I read that.
Greed Island kind of counts. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like isekai too, from like light novels where they kind of go to another world and stuff. I don't know. There's no game. I don't think that one really counts because I don't know. Maybe, but.
Digimon?
I want to say yeah, but I mostly just meant like it's a literal video game world that they're.
Yeah, I got you. Nah, actually, yeah, no, I ain't something like this. Yeah, this is something different. I like how you do it. Where like he has like things in the human world affect what actually happens in the game, which is actually pretty dope.
Vince?
That's really dope.
A lot.
Did you say oh why?
No, I said a lot.
Okay. And Zodiac?
Only a few, but that's only because I've seen a bunch coming out at the same time, so I was like, ooh, I'm gonna be a little picky with this.
Okay.
This one just seemed to stick out for me. Other than that, I think I've just read Sword Art Online, read that one arc from Hunter x Hunter, and then I can't say I really read much else that takes place in the video game world.
The main reason why I'm asking that is because I actually tend to not like these type of stories. Right? And Hardcore Leveling Warrior is kind of an outlier. I don't mind like the MMORPG elements being added to a story, so things like soul leveling stuff, even though I'm not a huge fan, like that's not new to me. I've been reading The Gamer and Dice you could like change your stats and shit like that. And there's even been some like Smutwell and Pornhole like love parameter with things like that implemented. But there usually comes a point where I just lose interest. But this has been one of the few that's kept my interest for as long as it has. So that's why I wanted to ask you guys, because I feel like it's that significant, at least for me.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's definitely the outlier for all of that, and I think it does a really good job of balancing the real world stuff with the gaming stuff.
That's exactly where I was gonna go in a second.
That's a fact. Like I enjoy like how like there's actually like stakes in the game. Like, of course you have like have some plot hacks like any story does, but like he actually puts stakes on not just like the real life stuff, but in the game stuff. Because like I say, there's a synergy between like what happens in the game and real life, and it's cool that you actually care about all the other characters besides like the main cast. You care about like what happens to Master Swordsman, and you care about what happens to his granddad. Like I like that about it too, or like you actually feel the stakes of the game to a degree.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's put me on the edge of my seat so many times.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's significant about it to me that I appreciate is that I find that with a lot of these games, either the stakes for like because like I said, I think Lucid Adventure balances like the literal Lucid Adventure stuff with Ethan's like actual real life really well, to the point where it's like the whole idea of escapism and people like running away to like books and video games and these magical worlds to escape is something like surreal, because it's like, yeah,
Right.
he's that dude in this game, but he's in like debt and in trouble in his real life. But I always
Right.
find that human side, like the real world side, is not as interesting all the time, because they can't do the fantastical things they do in the real world that they do in
Right.
the game. So you have to find a balance, and I felt like this one, it finds the right balance, like just enough that I never forget
Facts.
Ethan is in trouble. You know what happened with armies and everything, and everyone's real life, but not so much that I'm bored. I have to keep watching him like be in the dungeon in the dirt. You know?
Yeah.
All right. And then too, I
Whenever
think it helps
Sad
too
Smile
that
comes on screen, you're like, ugh.
I think it helps too that he makes the
Sorry.
president like such a like super like crazy dude. Like that's what helps too with the real world. So I was like, he makes the president menacing.
Yeah.
Like the president really is that dude.
Yeah.
Bruh, this dude was moving
Yeah.
so dirty,
Fucking
so
terrible.
so dirty.
Yeah. Real world and in the game, you just moving shifty.
No, listen, when you find out who the president is in the game, that's bro. I'm not gonna lie. You should see it coming, but it do surprise you to a degree. Like you see that Mance is really the zombie looking dude, the Moria. I won't say like the Moria looking
Sad
dude, but yeah,
Smile.
Yeah.
yeah, sad smile dude.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah, like like when it does happen, you're just kind of taken aback. Like, I didn't want this to happen.
Exactly.
I didn't mind it, but hey, that's life.
Well,
But-
I mean, like in a
I
scary
know.
sense.
But what I also find is very refreshing about this too is like, so for a lot of these type of like video game esque, you know, manga and webtoons or whatever, I always feel like the punishment for losing or like quote unquote dying in game is not enough or way too much. Where it's like, oh, if you die in the game, you just stay in a coma and you drool out your nose for the rest of your life. Like you know, like
Right.
like I understand it, but when the stakes are too high, it's hard for me to get invested, because I always feel like the author is going to shy away from actually sticking to that punishment or even letting them fall into that situation. They'll find some
Right.
contrived way to get them out of it. I found like with Lucid Adventure, you actually pretty much losing all your stats is significant enough of
Right.
a punishment that you're not going to just be like, oh, it doesn't matter if I die. You're not going to try to die, but it's not like, oh, you die and now you die in real life and that's it. It's over. Like I felt like the punishment
That's a fact.
is just.
It's like
Yeah, 'cause I
it's
feel
like.
like-
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like if you start out with like such high stakes, it just feels like it's so limiting to where the story could go, either in what you could do with it, or like you said, when you have to start going out of your way to do these contrived things to kind of get around it, then it's you kind of just lose the investment. It's just
It's very true. Like it helps that like if you lose, you just like Hemming said, you just lose your stats, and we're always like, oh well, I'll just start over tomorrow. So it's cool. Like on one end, like the stakes don't really matter too much, but on the other end, it's like all or nothing, which is like a good, like I said, it's a good balance. It's a good like feel.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah,
Great. It's a great title. It's great. I'm a great walking. It's a great way to walk the tightrope between all that. Excuse me.
yeah, 'cause how important it is for those characters to be in this world and how it affects their lives.
What about you, Vince? I don't know if you felt the same way.
Yeah, for the most part, definitely. And it's just like with Ethan's circumstance being kind of the way it is, it's like something I like in like kind of like gambling manga and stuff like that. So it's like that was a cool little twist that like, yeah, he's good in the game as realized that, but he has to play this game kind of like for a reason that's not necessarily himself.
Yeah.
He has to work for somebody else and has to move according to their bidding. Because normally it's just like, oh, the main character is just really good at the game, and you know he's always been good at games, or he's gonna be the hero. It's like, no, this main character literally has to work for somebody else, like and he has to like do all this to get out of his debt.
Yep.
So like that's pretty unique and pretty interesting. It makes it way more. Makes you want to learn more about what's going on with the story. That gives you the need to want to know about the stuff that happens in the real world.
While we're on the topic of Ethan, like, how do we feel about Ethan as a lead, Mr. Hardcore Leveling Warrior himself? How you think he's a good main character? Yes, no, thoughts?
Yeah, I think he is really good. I don't have no place currently where I would put him, but he's definitely, as far as webtoon ones go, he's definitely one of my more personal favorites.
I agree with that.
It's just
Same.
it's not even necessarily about like the complexity. I just like the way he moves. I just like how interesting they tried to make him without doing anything like too extreme. But it's just like it's understandable. He's had a pretty shitty life, and this game is the one thing he's good at. But even though the game is kind of the one thing he's good at, he's not necessarily like
Playing it for fun.
You're right, yeah, and he's not just like he's not completely like the pure good. Like he's good overall.
Yeah.
He ends up usually making the right decision, but he's not like 100%. He feels human, and I can appreciate that a lot. It's just like, man, he got priorities that's above just having fun and stuff like that. He moves in a lot of self-interest, and I'm like, that makes sense, and so definitely, yeah, he's definitely one of the more enjoyable main characters, especially in webtoons. So,
What about you, Zodiac?
Yeah, I agree because for the longest time I kind of just went on a binge read of like a lot of shonen stuff, and so generally you got that typical goody good hero guy stereotype, and I don't know, it's nice like as diving into one of my first webtoons, seeing this, and then I also like to gamble, so like when I'm doing like, oh, what game do I want to play? I could play Monster Hunter, or I could play Deadly Premonition. All right, I'm gonna flip a coin on it.
All right, I'm
Yeah,
back.
I
My
do
fault,
think-
y'all.
No worries.
So-
We're talking about
It's all
Ethan.
good.
Oh, you said
But
about
yeah,
big Ethan bait like a coin?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But like, yeah, his love for gambling I thought was really cool, and to see it implemented within a video game like that was just so cool to me, and how he was able to abuse it, and it's just really fun. He's just fun.
Jordan, what are your thoughts on Ethan as a lead, as an MC?
I enjoy it, like, because he's one of the few dudes, like, I won't say I root for him to like succeed, but you just want him to at least turn the corner. Like I don't really need him to like have like a super like success or like comeback story, but like you actually want to see like where his road leads and stuff, and then you will enjoy him in the game being a super over cocky, overconfident, just ultimate dude in the game. Like you enjoy it, so like you get a new perspective on the MC as far as like not needing him to be like some super squeaky clean like noob or some dude that has to overcome. Like you actually just want to see him try to do something with himself at least, and then you want him to see him just be ultimate in the game. So I enjoy it. Like I said, I enjoy it.
I think
I
think what I really appreciate about him is that
Mhm.
he's just there's always a couple of characters where I feel like when I try to imagine it in my own head, I'm like, if this character was in this universe and had this life, this is actually how I imagined they would act, and he falls into that mold for me, where I'm like, the reason why he's not goody two shoes yada yada, because life is hard out here. It don't be like that.
Real.
People aren't super righteous and heroic and things of that nature. He's got his own personal motivations and goals in tandem with this. He's met cool people that he kind of likes. Now he has to find that middle ground. How can I succeed without necessarily having to stomp on them, but I might have to stomp on them so I can be okay. And he has to struggle with that. I admire that. And then the way that the way that his mind works and the way how he strategizes with this game, I think is such a treat, because it's like you could understand how he became the best at the game, ranked number 1 at some point, because of how he thinks the game. Because people have better stats and equipment than him, but with just this little gambler gimmick, Lucky Coin, he's doing all these smart things. Like when he made Dark able to use that reverse to get him back to the bro.
Oh my god, that was so fucking hype.
That was listen, man. Listen, man. I'm not gonna lie. I was super hyped. I'm like, man, listen, they finna get clapped. But they finna get clapped by this demon chick. right? He level 1. Then he was like, "Well, hey, ho ho," which I didn't know was I'm super ultimate with my skill to where I can put this on anybody. So, hey, it's a one in I forget how small the odds were, but hey, lucky coin gang, man. And then you got his stuff back and just bodied it. Oh man, listen, that was too
that
hype.
was a treat. Like I did not see that coming, and I was like,
I
I just see
know.
this dude in the goal. I said, no way, there's no way.
Now that y'all speaking all that, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I just gasped and got up when that happened. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, well, I was gonna say one aspect that I think I really like about this story too is that there's a lot of manga and a lot of things with the video game inspired world and stuff like that. It's like really easy to like just get bored or not care about it. But I think they do a pretty good job of keeping everything kind of like level. And even though people have levels and stuff like that, there's not too much like cheat code ass pull, even though they got their fair bit of that too. But it's just like they also like, especially for Zora and Dart, they actually did have to get better and shit like that. Like, and the reason Ethan is overpowered makes sense is because he's been at the top before, so
Right.
it made a little bit more sense for him to be as strong and have the experience that he already had. Like he played this game at the highest level. And now he had two new people that he had to basically kind of get there. One that had some level of experience but didn't play it at a super high level, and one basically who didn't have any experience. So that was always a fun enjoyment that I got out of it too. And even though it's not like the battles are not like super gigantic notable, it's still like an enjoyable experience overall chained together with the story itself. It doesn't do anything to detriment it or anything like that.
I agree. But yeah, like the gambler class was like something that I like didn't see coming. So when I'm like, this is what like it's just funny. It's like awesome for me to see, just because like from a personal standpoint, from a gimmick standpoint, I am the unluckiest person ever. Right? If anything is left to pure RNG, it's curtains for me. So I could never do it. I could never do the gambler class. So I gotta respect it. Like I'm like, bro, he is flipping these coins, getting these rolls, going crazy. I love it. You can buff himself, and obviously there's the risk of the debuff, but it's just like his willingness to just go all in on that. It's awesome. He's a good lead. What's up? What's your 3 favorite characters? I'll start with you, Jordan. What's your top 3 favorite characters?
So my top 3 were number 3 was Tech. Enjoyed me some Tech. 4 was Drip Soup. That was my dude. This big Drip Soup. And of course, number 1.
Are Ross names, by the way.
That's a fact. But it was Tech, Drip Soup, and then number 1 was Big Ethan. Man, listen, Big Ethan, Big Lucky Coin. Like, you know what's happening. Like, you know what time it is. But yeah, those are my big 3 right there. And shout out to Tech for being really the epitome of day one. Shout out to Tech, bro. People don't respect Tech too enough, bro. Shout out to that dude Tech.
I respect it. Zodiac. Favorite 3?
Constant always steals the show for me. I reread that like Zara section like 3 times because I was like, this guy's gonna be important. And after that, like just that and his ability just fucking blew me away. Like he fools the game into making him stronger. That's fucking weird to me. Yeah. I don't know if I'm phrasing that correctly, but
no, I got it.
In his edginess, as well as Ethan, and for gambler awesomeness, and then. Let's see. I think Heart Eater was really cool too because he's a loner, and then he's also got the Dragon Knight class, which I found really interesting. The importance of that.
That's my guy. My favorite character is Hermes. Shout out to the Zara Guild back in the day. She's not here no more. Yeah. Pioneer Slash. She's my favorite. I just thought she was fun. Her and Swordsman were just. And everything, just thought it was a good time. Then I'll say probably Heart Heater.
Okay.
And listen, that name, it just goes crazy. So I can't. Every time I hear it and I see it, it's just like, how you name this guy that? His name is Drip Soup. He dripping over there, like
bro. Heavy, talk to him, man.
Yeah. For a third, Oh, it's kind of hard. Can you remind me of the dude with the mage with the fucking big hat, like the. It's
Mage
gonna
with the
annoy me.
big hat.
He's in Drip Suit's team. There was the guy with the gun. I can't remember his
Okay,
name right
let's.
now.
Oh,
Okay,
Choco
Chuckle.
BB,
Yeah,
the
Chuckle
guy that
Baby.
looks like Law.
Yeah. Okay. I like him.
Okay.
I like him.
Yeah, Choco's
Master Swordsman's up
Choco's
there
a
though.
goat.
I like him a lot too. I like him.
Choco's a goat.
Choco
I like
BB.
Choco a lot.
Okay, yeah. So those are probably my favorite three. But Ethan is right there too, because like, I tend to not really like main characters or be really indifferent. But Ethan is one of the main characters that I like and I root for. Like
Facts.
after he was missing, I said, "Yo, you better find this man ASAP." Every panel I don't see him is a problem. Okay. But Dark was out here doing his
Facts.
thing. What about you,
Also,
Vince?
hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, hold on real quick, Hemmings. Shout out to Sora for not being the typical, you know what I'm saying, third
Fucking
wheel
love Sora.
or female protagonist, man. Shout out to Sora for actually being
She munching.
a cool third wheel, man. That's what I'm
Big E.
saying, bro.
Yeah.
Big E. That's what I'm talking about. And shout out to also to Ego. Shout out to Ego, man.
Yeah.
You gotta give a little to Ego.
Vince, what are your favorite three?
Crazy or not, my favorite three might actually be the three main characters. Crazy enough.
Oh, okay.
That's super rare. That almost never happens.
Can't go wrong.
Like,
No, I feel that. That's rare.
Yeah.
That'd be rare for me too, but they're good. I liked all of them. Dark, Sora, and Ethan. They're all good.
yeah, I like Zora more and more, and even Dark, like some of his struggles with with stuff. I mean, I also love his grandfather as a character too, and I also love Heart Eater. So those probably round out the top five. But this is a very like versed and pretty well liked cast for me. I pretty much don't really, other than the characters you're supposed to hate, I pretty much like every other character that's not them.
Yeah.
So that's really like it's really fun. It's like there's not like a whole bunch of characters that I like. I'm just like what are they doing here? I don't like them. Like so, that's another reason why I like this story so much. For the most part, everybody's pretty enjoyable. So
It's got a good cast. They're very likable. But how do we feel about like the central narrative, like the story itself? Are you enjoying it? Because that's the one thing I see some people kind of like say it's like they enjoy it and whatnot, but they don't think the like actual story itself with Lucid Adventure and stuff is that interesting. I don't know how.
The thing is,
I find that very.
I find it to be enjoyable. I can like for me, I can tell. I know it's not like the best story ever. I know it's like the best written story, but like I just enjoy how it's the actual game and it has like game elements where like you'll get random because you did certain things. You will get like a random god quest or whatever. I just enjoy how you know what I'm saying. It's like you get a feel of actual a game like a. If I wish I had an anime, like it would be like a game on screen. Like, I enjoy that. So to me, like that's the best part about it. This is like this a actual game feel. Like you don't feel like you're in a story or like in a novel, but like you're in an actual game. That's what I like.
Okay. What about you, Zodiac?
I find it very. There's a lot to appreciate about it. Like when you think of like the wit, and then Grandpa Han, and how like I like how she was able to pull like a diamond out from the phone when she first like made the thing. Like things like that, and then like the implement and like the I can't speak English.
Implementation.
Yes, on what it could do in the real world in the long run, and then seeing what Nightmare Zero, is that what it is? Yeah, what she's building towards.
The one that kind of looks like thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Nightmareization was something that caught me off guard in general. By the way,
Right.
fucking cheating the game. That shit was pretty cool. Then it made those like counterparts. I actually was enjoying that stuff because I didn't know how they were gonna keep sending more and more like threats and stuff, and I was just interested to see what's gonna happen. Like, I think the thing that I enjoyed, like, this isn't the craziest written story. I don't think your story has to be crazy complex and stuff for it to be good. If you execute what you mean to do well,
Right.
yeah, I think you're doing a good story, and that's why I think Hardcore Leveling is a good story. I think for what it's trying to do, it does it well. I appreciate all the little games. I do still think there's some like random I actually have this EX skill, and it kind of comes out of nowhere for me, and I guess that's just something that happens with this type of story in general, because this is not a knock on hardcore leveling warrior itself. There's not a single story like this I've seen that hasn't done that. So maybe it's hard to get around.
Yeah.
But I still
Absolutely.
appreciate how Ethan and these guys like win these games and like solve these issues. I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Like, it's a Chinese name, I think. You remember the little kid with the like 99 maxed out strength stat? And how Ethan was trying to like use those little summons to like, I'm like, oh my, like he the whole time he was playing checkers, he was playing chess. I said, oh my goodness, like it's things like that. I just like how he thinks. So I'm never upset like how things turn out, because I always feel like, it makes sense. And he's always willing to do something risky if the reward is going to be just as good as the risk.
I do like how his character matches his real life persona to a degree. I like that too. How they both like parallel, and how like even though like Ethan has everything in the game, he's still bound. He's still bound by like his debt and stuff, and of course it translates over in real life too. So I like that too, that balance as well.
Well, what about you, Vince? Do you think how do you feel with like the story and narrative and stuff?
For me, I say this a lot, but to me, it's kind of like what I wanted Sword Art Online to be. Like when I first watched it, because it was just like, to have that, because like when you're making something that's like very video game-esque with the story and stuff like that, I think we all kind of, we don't expect like the best story or anything like that, because that's just not something you're usually going to get out of this, and nobody has figured out a really creative way to do it. So it's just like, that's fine. But out of any story that has this type of setting and genre and stuff like that, premise, I think Hardcore Level Warrior to date, out of the stuff I know, does it the best, because it's just like they're not trying too hard to be something it's not. It's doing the stuff with the game world, doing the stuff with some themes and some narratives in real life, and it's just making it overall just entertaining. And then, like I said, there's still stuff happening, not just with Ethan himself, but even with Dark and his grandfather. It's like there's different type of safety. It's just like, and maybe you don't know everybody. Maybe there's reasons outside of just playing the game that people are playing the game for. Some people play it for fun. Some people are playing it for money. Some people might be doing it to escape their real life problems.
Some people are literally using it as a business. Like how Dark's whole family, they be moving like this shit is a real business type beat.
Right, exactly. And I'm like, see, that's the stuff you should be doing. Because, we don't want to see too much of the real life necessarily either. But, at least make the stuff that happens in their life important and integral to how they play and into their personalities in the game. So it's just like, that's cool. Or like, they might be the opposite of how they are in real life. Like in real life, they could be driving on the game. They're like an asshole. So like, that's fun.
And another thing that I appreciate about this story too, because a lot of stories got to do this, and when I talk about world building, I made a video, I didn't put it out yet, but like one thing that I remember I told you, one thing people don't realize is that the characters are actually a really important part of that. Where I feel like things don't necessarily revolve around Ethan. Ethan was important because he was the best in the game at one point, and he's not anymore. But he has his own trial and tribulation and struggles, and so does everybody else. I don't always feel like anytime he is involved, that's when things start happening. Everyone has their own story. His just happens to be like the one that we're focusing on from our point of view.
The perspective. Yeah.
So I appreciate that a lot, because I'm like, everybody's struggling in some shape or form. I know Dark Rich got money, but man, you don't got that respect from his family or nothing, none of that shit, right? So it's truly a treat. But I would say this: the reason why I appreciate the story is because I think it's a bit of a cautionary tale, and just really like a pretty good like kind of social commentary on like you can't really run from real life, no matter how good your life could be, like online or in a game. Like you could be
I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about it like that. That's a great point.
Yeah,
that's a good take. Yeah, I didn't think about that either. That's a good take.
You could be the best COD player ever, but hate your real life. When you gotta go to work, break your back, do manual labor, some shit like that.
Right.
So it's just like it's just like seeing these people's individual. Like I remember, Thing was dying. She was sick in real life, right? So it's just like
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this game won't save you no matter how much fun you're having with it and stuff. And I just thought like
Man, see,
those
that
lessons
just
in
tells,
part.
that just tells you though how much like
Yeah.
that they really made, because that's something like a Sword Art Online kind of missing. Like they try to add stuff like that in the later seasons, but like when it first initially came, it's just like, oh yeah, you gotta finish this game or you're gonna die. It's like, oh okay, like all right. And Log Horizon got a certain almost similar thing, except they just decided to stay. They were just like, okay, fuck it, we'll just
Yeah.
whatever. Real life was kind of garbage anyway. Like it was kind of like the opposite in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I think the big picture takeaway is also important. So I appreciate the narrative, even though it's nothing crazy, super deep, nothing like that. But no, it's good. It's well executed. That's all I really ask for.
Right.
You said like them like giving us like a lot of the characters like real life situations, and like what they're doing with to like help add to like the story or like help connect us to a story. So for me, like I get it. I don't think it like made the world bigger, but it made it more personable. That makes sense.
No,
With some of the characters.
just to clarify what I
You
was
can invest in it.
Yeah, to clarify what I mean earlier, right? You ever read a story where you feel like nothing ever happens until the main characters get there? And then it's like stuff are happening. The world doesn't feel alive because it's only revolving around your central characters. The point I'm trying to say is like a big part of world building is having other people's lives kind of matter or be involved. Think about My Hero, right? In My Hero, when Deku wanted to see what was happening, when Mount Lady was fighting with Kami, I can't remember who she was fighting, whatever, right? There was other people around like, yo, I'm going to be late for work today. The heroes are fighting. The villains are going great. The world is alive. The people are doing they're active, they're proactive. It's not, Deku's
Pieces
here.
are moving all
Now
the
we
time.
get event, right? No. Regardless of Deku, them niggas was going to be late to work. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I got you.
But, okay.
Everything that was moving.
How do you feel about the actual like combat and like the fighting itself, the games when they're playing, stuff like how do you feel that was executed?
That's top tier. I ain't not gonna even lie with you. I like how he draws his
Really
fights.
fun to follow.
I like how you can see like how certain status effects affect certain characters, how certain characters buffs and have certain buffs and nerfs. Like I like, man, listen, I just feel like I'm in a super RPG movie, man. I'm not even gonna lie. When they start fighting, I enjoy it. Then I like too how when like after certain quests are done, certain fights are done, they actually get like certain like new items. They can check items and stuff like that too. They have inventory, so like it's just cool all around, man. Like I like everything about it, man.
That's what's up. Zodiac?
I think it kind of like how do I say this? It's just really fun to follow. The art style is really cool. Like it just flows really well, and it doesn't feel too repetitive, where you're seeing like the same cuts or you expect like I don't know. It just really fun to get hyped, and the character designs and it's really creative with the names of the moves too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's a lot to enjoy.
I think for me, it's like this. It's like the like I said earlier. It's just kind of how the games go about, or like everyone's kind of style of play is very present in how they do it. Right? You can see like if you play a fighting game, someone could be a gambler type. They go for the big hits. But if you whiff that, you might get punished badly. There's people who are physical, people who are long distance, people who are more like about status effects and stuff. It's like I could see the different play styles coming alive, and I thoroughly enjoy that. So that's probably my favorite part about it. But I do think it's well drawn and stuff. Not the most out of all the webtoons that I read. It's not it doesn't go the craziest from an action standpoint, but it's solid enough. Solid enough that I like it. But Vince, how do you like the combat and stuff? You there? Did you mute? Yeah, you muted. Okay, never mind. But yeah, because like we spoke about the one part with Ethan, that was awesome. I remember when Dark's brothers were around and they was going crazy with their forms and everything. I'm like, holy shit, this shit is wrong.
Yes. Also too, I think for me, I like it too is like how the powers are explained. Like you actually get like I don't know how he does it consistently, but he actually like will in a very like concise and detailed way just explain your dude's ability, his power and class, and then it just flows. It makes sense. Like you're not really being like, oh, that's just BS. Like, hey, it makes sense how it's working, and you go with it. You run like that's the thing. Like I like too about the fighting, all the power, like how the
Right.
powers were explained and given to us.
Yep.
Same.
I one thing and another thing about the story too is like because I think sometimes when people forget to just have fun, right? So, like
Facts.
because sometimes people are like, oh, like hardcore leveling, what's good about it? I'm like, listen, man, it's fun. I'm having fun, and that's it. Like, I understand everybody wants to have all these deep reasonings and be an essay merchant and write a fucking 30-page, 30-thread Twitter fucking account of like put longer about why this is so good and that. And other was like, yo, I'm laughing, I'm having fun. The colors are vibrant, the art is vibrant. It's just it's a cool world. I like the game, and I like hardcore leveling warrior. I think sometimes that's okay. I mean, that's simple for you. You don't gotta be doing the most. It's a fun
Yeah.
read,
I agree.
especially the first
Like,
time. It's just fun. Like I just blinked and I was caught up. Like, damn it, I'm caught up. I was having a good time. Let me just cut you off. Go ahead.
oh no, you're good. I was just gonna say, like, I could see some people criticizing this and being like, "Oh, it's convenient. This person has this personal attribute, or they have this type of magic." But like the way it's done is so unique to them. Like what you were saying earlier, it really does feel personal to the character, and it shows when it goes to that thing. And it's really flashy, and it just looks really fun. And it's one of those things where I don't care. I want to see how this goes down.
Yep.
Right. Exactly.
What are some of your favorite moments from the first season?
Let's see. The favorite moments, of course, with Ethan in the tournament when he bodied what's called Dark's older brother. That was my favorite moment.
I needed that.
I did,
That was
bro.
therapeutic.
What got me is how he explained how literally like he put fear in this dude. But like
Yes.
this dude had to. I don't think he memorized what he did, but he went to like his ultimate form, and he still got super negative. That was great. I liked the
Yeah.
heart hitter fight. That was awesome. What else? See here, it's cool finding about all about like heart hitters past. I like that. I don't know, man. Like, I guess to me, anything after what got me to really like a hardcore. I guess anything after meeting Dark's granddad initially. After that, everything just been fire to me. The story.
That's actually that's a good talking point. Like the kind of creation of the world and stuff. So when we were when you were reading like with the grandpa wanted to make the game for his grandson, this and that, and the third, and like how things
Yeah.
how did you guys like that? Like I actually thought it was very interesting how the actual game itself was made. I liked it. I didn't think it was the best thing I've seen, but I liked it. I was always wondering like was this some guy at a computer crunching numbers or like is this some kind of like more magical?
It was mad. It was
Right?
mad unique because like I like how it came full circle actually, as far as how to like
Yeah.
he created it, but then he sort of dies with it in real life. But then too, he dies with it in the game, and you see how the game changes or like changes from how he had it when he dies. So like I like how I don't know I like that. I like how he completed it in a sense. That makes sense.
What are we talking about? My bad. I had to step away.
No, it's all good. Right now I'm talking about like how Lucid Adventure was literally created with the grandpa.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought it was pretty cool and interesting.
Oh, that was crazy. See, that added something to the story. They at least tried to. At least they were trying to do something like different. Pretty entertaining.
It's very different. It's very very different.
Yeah, I like how it's like almost like a supernatural element.
Yeah, because like I said, I was wondering, was this one guy at his computer crunching numbers until this shit became
Right. Yeah.
So it was nice to
And
see
mad
that.
people schoolgirls like, hey.
I also didn't
That could
think
help.
we'd get it that early. So it surprised me that we got that kind of backed up that early. I know the game has somewhat kind of changed and shifted a little bit with season 2, but just to see how it originally was made, it was a treat. It was fun. I like it.
I think I enjoyed it coming early because you saw how like I want to say like to get like the story is fast paced, but like I like how since things move so fast, you kind of get the setup and how things go, so that way it's not like a surprise or like more like BSy. and like it just flows. So like I'm cool with it coming early, just because it makes sense as far as how the story and the game progressed and turned out.
I liked it. I just didn't think. I just didn't expect it. This
Right,
might
right.
That's true.
this
Yeah,
might
yeah,
this
that's true.
this
That's
this
true.
this, this might just be me being a
Yeah.
Tower God of One Piece fan. We don't learn shit from 300
Uh,
chapters.
Right. Yeah.
When you reveal some shit
Right.
to me ASAP, I'm like, oh, that's new.
Yeah. It kind of
You know
reminded
what?
me of a little bit of No Game No Life with just kind of like, oh, there's just like some beings that like to play games. They're like, huh? So like, what if the whole world was games? And in a way, it semi reminded me of that. And also,
Right.
it was nice when it dropped what it did because it was like it kept me like more interested. It's like, oh shit, like okay, we have more stuff going on.
Bro, that too. Like I like how like you said like he did stuff because like to me like just finding out new things on this randomly. Like every chapter, every other chapter was cool. Like he didn't hide ranks, he didn't hide nothing. He just gave it to us and kept it pushing. So like you said, like doing One Piece and Tower, it was refreshing. That's why I like it a lot. The story a lot too, just because he gives you stuff like not just I'm not trying to spoil, but like in season 2. Like he shows us who the number one person is. Like he shows us like the top 5 and stuff, which is
Yeah.
cool. Like I enjoy that about the story. So to Evan's point, like that's a good thing too, and refreshing.
And Dark's story and his progression has been cool to see because even kind of seeing him take the forefront more so in the second season. I know we're not really talking about that too much, but it was just it's
Right.
nice. It's he's having a character arc that I could really get behind, especially
Man.
now. I like him
Yeah.
a lot more now.
I like listen him. Zip's progression is great because if I ain't gonna lie, at first I didn't like Dark that much. I didn't care much for him, but
Same.
that progression, man. Now, like you say, going to season 2, like you root for him like that. Hey, Dark is my dude.
To me,
Like that is my
to me,
dude.
that's always kind of a hallmark of a pretty good character arc. If you go from, like, fuck this guy, or I'm not that interested, and then at one point, like, nah, he's alright. Like, you know, like,
Exactly.
I
That's a
think,
fact.
I think of like Zuko.
Just change
I
your
didn't like Zuko
emotional
at- yeah,
investment.
I didn't like Zuko at first. I thought he was a jerk, but as it went along, I'm like, yo, I like this kid. I understand. He just out here trying to make it. You know. He's my gold standard for
Facts.
character arcs. That's why. That's why
Understandable. It should be.
Yes, but
Like talk that dark talk.
dark talk. Favorite moments. Let's go back to that. Sorry, because we were talking about that. Then we went to the backstory a bit. But like some of our favorite moments from the series in general, or season 1 in general.
That's right.
Actually, you know what? I guess I don't know if it's a moment, but I enjoy Yopi's whole dynamic and just Yopi Land and the whole crew. I enjoy that as far as just like real life, like real deal friends, just playing the game together and like growing together. Like I mess with that whole dynamic and
I miss you.
how it's just fire, man. Like you see, I forget who was it who was cool in real life. Was it Yopi and Tag? They were cool in real life.
It was the names are not honestly. Unfortunately, I'm bad with these names, so they're not ringing a bell off a rip like that. But you could be right.
No,
Yeah, it's been a while.
so like Yopi was the head dude. You might remember Yopi Land, like being like.
No, I remember him
someone-
and his friend, but I don't remember the friend's name like that.
Yeah, okay, but yes. I'm trying to figure out who it was. It was cool, but yeah,
But
that was
I
cool,
know what you're talking
Actor
about.
the musclehead.
right? I don't know, but I guess for most of me, it's like seeing the dynamics of the Yopi Land, seeing like Dark and his family's dynamics, and that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then too, like the game characters, like the actual like NPCs have like a whole actual life too. Like for me, it was cool too, seeing how like the real life stuff then overshadow like the NPCs. That was just cool too. So I enjoyed that too.
Yeah. And like I was like one for me was like anytime Ethan would run into somebody who had like a piece of his old armor or something.
Yeah,
And he's like, hey yo, let me get that.
That was all
Let me get that back.
that's a fact.
right.
I enjoy those moments. I talked about the one where they used the key on him, the dark thing, and after boom, he went back to his old form. Seeing him against the brother, that shit was amazing.
No, to me the funny moments was the whole was like the Hohenheims, like the little white dudes. Those dudes were hilarious. I like them dudes a lot.
The Hohoians.
These are always yes, Bruh.
Fucking love those guys.
Yeah,
Them dudes are hilarious.
it's,
What
Siege
else?
round.
y'all got any?
I enjoy like people gassing up Heart Heater all story. I get the whole like first part. I enjoy like every time you see artists like get into a fight, it's like me bags out. Everybody's like, well, it is hard hero. Like everybody acknowledges, like he's just an OD, like an OP ultimate dude. So that was also like kind of cool to me for a while. Just like that hard hitter hype.
I feel it. Vince, Zodiac, any favorite moments or stand-up moments, character moments? Could be a move. Could be something simple as a move. Because listen, ain't a move better than Pioneer Slash. Sorry.
That was pretty raw.
So much
Cool seeing fucking what's her face pull out the rest of her celestial magic. That was pretty cool.
Oh yes.
What was it? Fucking the Santa Maria.
That was good.
And then what else? What else? There was another one I had in mind. That what blew me away was everyone going to fight fucking what's her face at the end. All the gods teamed up on her, and then was that when Yopi pulled out the fucking grandfather Han card and was like, "Ha!" Cut them down.
There was that. And I remember
that fucking blew me away.
When all of the like when all, the guy with the gun and Chuckle BB and everyone pulled out their like new forms and he pulled out the gun. I said, "Yo, this panel clean." Oh my god.
Oh, another one. Another one was like when everyone got their nightmare doppelgangers.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like having such a hard time, and then it goes back to Yopi, and he fucking washes his own clone because he's like, "You're such a freak, aren't you? I could see right through you." And then like goes back to him, he's just face down in his own blood.
Yeah.
That's funny. That was also funny too.
This series has promise. Vince, you got any?
No, for me, it's anytime like Zora would be talking about Eden, that shit just funny. But I enjoy the moments, just like, you know, how much that like Dark and Zora, like, you know, how much Ethan really meant to them, and then him kind of disappearing for their lives kind of forced them to change and grow up too. Like, it's kind of crazy. It's like that a lot, to be honest. Sometimes online, especially when you're younger, it's like you have people that you become friends with that, you know, change you, and people think that sometimes this online stuff is real, because I like to say it's real and it's not real at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, like you think about them outside of the game too, like, I wonder how they're doing.
Yeah. Like sometimes you can't wait to get back home so you can hop on the comm and start talking to them, you know? So
yeah, right, yeah, that's your, like, those are your friends. Like, yeah, they're on the other side of the world, but like that distance in some way makes them the best people to talk to.
Indeed. I can't think of any major talking points for the first season right now off the top of my head. If you guys have anything you think we forgot to mention, now's the time.
For me, like, that's kind of one of the limitations, I guess, in the series. But you know, I don't think it like kills it too much. But it's like, you know, it's just one of those series that like I don't think there is a huge ton of talking points or anything of that nature. It's it is what it is. But that doesn't make it less enjoyable. Because for me, like, you know, everybody doesn't do ratings, but for me, I have this like a 8.5. Like
8.5 is where I have it.
Yeah, so it's just like, you know, for much of a story that doesn't particularly, other than what you just said, because that's giving me something new to chew on about the commentary. But other than that, even without that, I was just like, this is as much as a fun and enjoyable story as you could possibly have, with like deeper meaning than anything like that.
I think that ended up hitting me the way it hit me because I remember like one of my friends, right? Because he's really good at COD. He was like top 10 and this and that, blah blah blah. And he's like, yo, it's like, yeah, like you guys are impressed by this. The people are impressed online, but when I'm at work, ain't nobody fucking know or give a damn about this. And I'm like, that's interesting. Like I never really, because we kind of champion him here, but in the real world, it's like you have a 3-point K. What's a KD? Like look, what's that? Like so, they don't be caring about none of that shit. So I feel it. But any final words?
Man, listen, hardcore, in my opinion. Like you say, call it cap, but I understand the best series ever. I don't know how the author does it, but he gives us the right amount of just enjoyability. He doesn't add, like he doesn't make the story more than what it is. Like we said, like it's been alluded to, and it's just a ride, man. You just enjoy it for what it is. So I'm glad that I got put onto this, and shout out to my friend Soap and Senpai Beef put me on, man, and just Lucky Horn Gang, bro. Shout out to Lucky Horn Gang and
You out here.
Big Dark, man.
Any last words, Zodiac, Vince? Anything you think we forgot? A character? You want to talk about that dragon lady in your Avi? Actually,
Oh.
Oh no.
Um.
what's her name again?
Huh? What? No.
What's her name?
Yes. Can't remember right now. The wine is taking effect.
Man, out here
Nice.
drinking wine. Go crazy.
Hey, my man lives a good life.
This is
Hey, I
fun.
ain't mad.
I ain't mad at it. I remember those days.
Trying to have a good time.
Next time we're gonna focus more on season 2, and then when I do like the literal stream, we'll be more people. It'll be a bigger one, and then we'll just talk about the whole series. I'll actually have all the talking points ready and stuff, so it'll be more organized and stuff, instead of just like off the cuff like this. But I'm happy we did it because I did want to do this. I want to talk about hardcore leveling, just more in general. I really gotta finish that Ethan video, but I get around to it in 2021.
I mean, I need you to do something like that, man.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you again for inviting me to this, or not inviting me, letting me come onto this after I asked you.
Of course.
Yeah, man.
It was really good to talk about it because I don't really know anyone in real life that reads webtoons at all.
Mhm.
So to get this recommendation and then to be on here to talk about it has been such a blast.
Listen, anytime. Anytime
Yeah,
you want
man.
to pop into something, you just ask. So,
Hey, man, I'm glad you hit me up, man, about this. Cause,
I wasn't doing it
I'm
without you. God knows this is your favorite. It wasn't happening.
I know, man. Listen, you understand? I be preaching this. I even like my friends like get into webtoons. So like, I got my best friend like his fiance and some of their friends in the webtoons. I give them like a little roadmap and like start here at like at Gala High School. Then I have them read Tower, and then boom, hit with hardcore.
Yes,
And then,
sir.
man, listen, they loving it, man. So like I say, man, I just do it how it hit me. I enjoy how it hit me. It's just a rush. It's a rush I can't explain, man. So
It really is.
shout out to the series.
Shout
I
out
can't wait for this to get it.
to Hermes, my goat, Zara, Guild, Master. Rest in peace. You're.